Good evening. Welcome to the December 20th Town Board meeting. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Teresa, if you call the roll.
Councilwoman Flood, here. She will be on our phone this evening. Councilwoman Standard. Here. Councilman Morelli.
Here.
Councilwoman Walloway. Here. Supervisor Barrett.
Here, entertain a motion to approve Town Board meeting minutes of December 6th. Second by Ms. Walloway, second by Mr. Morelli. Discussion. Okay, Teresa?
Councilwoman Flood.
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard.
Yes.
Councilman Morelli.
Yes.
Councilwoman Walloway. Yes. Supervisor Barrett.
Yes. Communications and announcements. I do want to thank all of our volunteers and our partner, Saratoga County. We had our third booster shot clinic today down at the Clifton Park Senior Community Center. We had about 180 or so folks that came in to get their booster. It's our third one that we've had. We'll have more as the need continues to be there. For those that are interested in receiving their booster shot, we want to do everything we can to make it as convenient as possible for Clifton Park residents. So I know hearing from many people, they appreciate the convenience when they were receiving their initial shots and now their booster, and they can have that done right here in town. In the way we have it set up, people are in and out in no time at all. There's no waiting in line, and it's all very orderly and quick. The only reason it takes about 20 minutes is it is recommended that after your shot, you wait there for 15 minutes, make sure that you do not have a adverse reaction, and before you leave. Clifton Park Half Moon EMS is there the entire time, so we appreciate their partnership and assistance as well. So like I said, if you're still looking for a booster, if you haven't had yours yet, there will be additional opportunities. Certainly, there's a number of clinics that the county is doing on a regular basis, but if you're waiting for one in Clifton Park, probably won't be until after the holidays. Okay. I know we have had some new edicts from New York State regarding masking. We expect that there might be more mandates and regulations that come forward from either the federal government or the state government, and we will respond accordingly as we've done for the last couple of years now. Okay, anyone else? Communications and announcements? Okay. All right, well, we have a couple of fantastic Clifton Park residents with us this evening, and we wanted to publicly applaud their efforts. One is, the first I should say tonight is U.S. Army veteran Emile Baker. Emile was recently inducted into the New York State Veterans Hall of Fame. That induction was made possible by Senator Jim Tedisco. So we just want to thank Emile for his many years of service, and his service continues to this day. I wish I had his energy. I don't wish I had his schedule though. And so he does a lot of traveling and a lot of early mornings and late evenings, but he is always on the go. We have a resolution that I would like to ask Teresa to read, and Emile's on.
Resolution number 288 of 2021, a resolution recognizing U.S. Army Sergeant Emile Baker on his induction into the New York State Veterans Hall of Fame. Whereas Emile Baker is a United States Army veteran, an E4 specialist who was given a combat promotion in the field to sergeant while serving in the Vietnam War. And whereas Sergeant Baker received the Bronze Star for Meritorious Service and the New York State Conspicuous Service Cross. And whereas following his time in Vietnam, Sergeant Baker served more than 7 years in the U.S. Army Reserves, later learning that his wartime exposure to Agent Orange had caused significant service-related disabilities. And whereas following his wartime service, Sergeant Baker embarked on a 20-year career with New York Telephone, Bell Atlantic, rising to a vice president and general manager for New York and Vermont. And whereas thereafter, Sergeant Baker opened a small business in telecommunications, ultimately growing his business to include some 30 cell phone stores and outlets in the tri-state area, later opening a deli and country store in Hoosick Falls, New York. And whereas following the sale of his business, Sergeant Baker has served as area chairman and New York State Director of Employer Outreach for the U.S. Department of Defense Employer Support for the Guard and Reserve Program to continue to help veterans successfully find jobs and other opportunities. And whereas throughout his business career, Sergeant Baker has devoted himself to helping U.S. service veterans gain employment opportunities. And whereas on Veterans Day 2021, Sergeant Baker was inducted into the New York State Veterans Hall of Fame in recognition of his contributions to the United States military and his fellow service members. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board wishes to recognize Sergeant Baker for a lifetime of service and commitment to his country, his community, and to the United States service members throughout the region.
Thank you, Teresa. I'll move that we approve the resolution with a second by the entire board. Approval. Okay, Teresa.
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standart?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowit?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes. Emile Baker, come on up, sir, if you would. We have the podium to the rear of the room. We've reconfigured here with the situation being what it is. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for everything you've done in support and defense of our country and what you've done for the last few decades following your service. Supporting veterans, supporting the military, small businesses, the list goes on, and we can't thank you enough. Tell us about your experience when you were inducted into the Hall of Fame. I mean, that's quite an honor here in New York State.
Well, Phil, I first want to say thank you, and thank you for inviting me here and speaking of what I've done. And I just want everyone to know that there's so many veterans that have done so much. And you know, we're kind of quiet about what we do, I think, and to be recognized made a huge impact. Senator Tedisco, when I was alerted to the fact that that was happening, I was a little incredulous, and then I'm like, wow. Once it settled in, and I thought about it, and I had to give them kind of a bio and a background. And it's funny, you don't think of your life in these stages of, you know, commercial or military or whatever, but it brought me back to think of how lucky I've been with what I've accomplished. And he managed to make me happy that I did the things that I did. And not all of us that went to Vietnam were very happy when we came back, and for a lot of reasons. But he made me feel that this was a major good thing that I did, and that's been sitting in my heart for the last month. So I can't thank him enough for what he did. And you folks here, I think this whole area is just great supporter of the military. And again, that's needed because they need a little help, a little advice. And I think if that continues, this is a great area. I got moved 13 times with the phone company, California, New York City, all over. And I chose here to come back and live and stay. And this is a great community. So again, that was a great honor. That was a great thing. But I think the recognition and the elevation of all veterans is a major thing that is welcome by each and every one of us. So thank you.
Well, thank you. And it is indeed a tremendous honor. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing now. You're involved in so many different. You're still a small business owner, but you're involved in so many things regarding supporting our veterans and actually helping veterans become small business owners themselves.
Well,
So if you could tell us a little bit about that.
that's something too. There's such a great sense of mission and able to execute that mission that actually veterans are the most successful small business owners or developers. I worked for 5 years as a volunteer with the SBA SCORE and their counselors and people that help with that. I've had to back out of a few of my programs because of the additional things I do for the Department of Defense. And last week was kind of the wrap of the year, and I had to go to 3 bases. I drove 700 miles last week, up to Drum, down to West Point, a naval base, an event over Hudson Valley. And it's great when it happens, a little bit too much all at once. And I think some folks with the town have done events with me. And it's just to create awareness of the sacrifice that our Guard and Reservists do. And that's something that the government can't market or advertise very well, a lot of things. So they use our resources to get out there and make this happen. Also, I did some work on disabilities for veterans with Agent Orange, and I got a bill passed with the Senate and the Assembly. And right now, the New York Veterans app has been enhanced to have additional resources that are geared locally. So if the veterans don't find it, the family members can find it. It's again, there's all these great programs and no real marketing or way to get the word out from a government agency. Not the town, I'm talking about the state and federal, and even the not-for-profits. I've been with the Peer Connection program, with the Dwyer program for 4 years out of Saratoga, doing counseling, and I did the Incarcerated Veterans program for 2 years. So again, understanding what it was like for me, I want to help these folks and just spread the word and make sure they're using their benefits.
Yeah, and that is a tremendous program. It's helped a lot of veterans. We've left Afghanistan, and a lot of changes geopolitically in the last year or so, and you see a lot of you personally see a lot of our veterans coming home. But what are the biggest challenges that you see as far as them making that next step in life? Transitioning, I guess, would be the difficult part of what they're trying to do.
Well, especially with a combat vet, and you're leaving that area where there's constant pressure, constant mission, the understanding of that, and Phil, you know from your own service that it's a different kind of employment. And these folks come back, and all of a sudden that's taken away. And I had the 5 worst years of my life after I got back from Vietnam until I got a job with the phone company. And so many people have that. And I'll use it, for instance, my business is always staffed by Army combat vets, and the manager is an Afghanistan veteran, combat airborne, and he was extremely upset with the exit strategy from Afghanistan. And it reminded me just of Vietnam, the helicopter running with tail between our legs, and why were we there, and why do we risk our lives and do all of this to just cave. And again, it was something that I saw he struggled with for days. And that really is something that I think every veteran questioned. And those things just don't go away. They just kind of mold in your head and affect how you function. So to be around other veterans or other programs, I think really helps. And I think almost everyone has benefited from taking advantage of speaking either to another vet in a peer connection type thing with the Dwyer program, or to be even acknowledged in a group setting and not necessarily just one-on-one counseling. But again, once they see that and start running, I think the life changes, and then they have a great demeanor and a focus where whatever they tackle is going to be a success for them. And once they get the combat and the different things put in the right place in their minds, they can focus and move on to family and the other things in the other parts of life.
Yeah, and the peer-to-peer program is so important because, trying to help veterans, if they're able to speak to another veteran that's been through what they've been through, they've lived it, They speak the same language. They don't have to explain what it was like. They know, they already know. And I think that that immediate connection between the veterans allows the veteran that might be struggling in a certain area of their life or assimilation back to society, can really help them along the way.
And just a note on the Incarcerated Veterans Program at the Saratoga County Jail. Almost every veteran there was in heavy combat and then just lost focus and lost his presence and his future. But then a lot of them have turned around, owned businesses, married, and that makes you feel really happy when that happens. So I've got a couple of success stories that, you know, I was just involved with and I followed them throughout. I even helped them set up his business. So that was kind of great.
Well, they were certainly there for us when we needed them, and we need to return that favor. And you're a leader in doing that, not only here, directly in our community and county, but throughout New York State. And for that, we thank you very much, and I'm very proud of everything that you've accomplished, from the Bronze Star to your service to your to everything you've done since your time in Vietnam. God bless you, and we thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Phil.
How about a round of applause? Now, Emile, we also, Senator Tedisco also sent some additional hardware, and this is a New York State proclamation that speaks to your service, as well as being inducted into the New York State Senate Hall of Fame. And this is just a little proclamation from the town of Clifton Park with the wording that you just heard read by Teresa so well. So just a small token of our appreciation as well.
I'm deeply honored and so appreciative of this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll get a quick picture here.
Okay, good.
Great. And the senator couldn't be with us tonight, but he does send his regards and big thanks.
Great man.
God bless. Thank you.
so much. Thank
And as is customary, 0300 comes early, right, Emile? So time you get Frank. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have an eagle in our midst. Teresa, if you could read the resolution, please.
Resolution number 289 of 2021, a resolution recognizing William Adams Jr. on achieving the rank of Eagle Scout. Whereas the people of the town of Clifton Park, New York, take immense pride in the accomplishments of our residents and recognize the valuable contributions of the Boy Scouts of America to our community and to our nation. And whereas William Adams Jr. has proven himself to be an outstanding member of the Boy Scouts of America and has earned the rank of Eagle Scout. And whereas William's Eagle Scout project was to rehabilitate and make improvements to the trail at the Veterans Memorial Park behind the BPO Lodge where Troop 246 meets. And whereas the project included the installation of trail markers, clearing of vegetation to reclaim trails, and the building of new benches throughout the park. And whereas William has held many leadership positions within scouting, and whereas William's dedication to the Boy Scout oath while using his time and energy to give back to his community will serve to prepare him for a meaningful, productive role in society. Now therefore be it resolved that on behalf of the people of the town of Clifton Park, the entire town board does hereby congratulate and salute William Adams Jr. on his achievement of the rank of Eagle Scout, and we are proud to have him as a member of our community.
Very good. I'll move that we approve the resolution with a second by the entire board.
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes, Mr. Adams, step forward, sir. You know, I mentioned at William's ceremony the other morning that, unfortunately, over the last couple of years, we've seen each other less and less. And when young men this age, and you don't see them for a couple of years, they tend to suddenly sprout up. And boy, the last time I had seen William, he was a lot shorter than he is now. So, thank you for coming tonight. And again, congratulations on behalf of the town of Clifton Park for everything you've achieved and everything you will achieve in the future. But tell us a little bit about your project. I mean, this is a high-profile park for the town. As we've expanded the number of acres there, more and more people are using that park. And we can't thank you enough for the improvements. But tell us a little bit about your project.
I specifically chose that project just because throughout my scouting career, I learned to love that trail so much, just with it being so convenient. It's conveniently close to where we've been meeting. And I'd also spent a lot of free time there just with friends hiking or biking or whatever we were doing on the trail. But over the years, I had realized that it had started to lose care. Not a lot of people had been going to it anymore. Some of the trails had become overgrown. There were several trees that we had to clear during the project that had just been left there for a couple of years. And it had gotten to a point where people had started just kind of making their own trail and walking onto the private property behind the park. So when my Eagle Scout project came around, I had chosen that spot just because I knew it needed the care. And it also had 2 benches previously put in by another Eagle Scout that were pretty close together, that were at a point where you couldn't really find them anymore, just with how much the trail had diverged from the map. So I put 4 more benches in throughout the park. I remarked one of the trails because unfortunately the markers had been torn down over the years. And I re-cleared the part of the trail that had overgrown over the years. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So now you are going to remain as a leader in the troop. Is that correct?
I will continue going back to the troop.
Yeah.
Just as a mentor to the younger scouts.
Right.
However, I will be this summer going to a program called MLT, where I will be leading there. I'll be the SBL there.
Yeah, and it's so very important, I think, for the program that people like you that become Eagle Scouts remain available to the younger scouts who want to get to where you are. So it's nice that you make yourself available as a mentor to help them along their way. So what are you looking forward to? What is your next goal? This is a big goal. Obviously, your family was incredibly supportive throughout the journey to Eagle, but do you have another goal in mind at this point?
Just with being a senior in high school right now, I plan on moving on to college. I guess my next big goal would be graduating college.
Do you know what you want to study yet?
I would like to study criminal justice.
Oh, good.
How I go from there, I'm not entirely sure.
Well, there's many routes to take, and then once you have that degree, there's many other opportunities that you can pursue as a career. So I know, we all know you have a tremendous future ahead, and we just wish you all the best in the future. And again, congratulate you on this incredible achievement as an Eagle Scout. Very few percentage of scouts that begin the program, I think it's 5, 4, somewhere in that area, actually get to Eagle. So that's pretty good company.
Thank you.
How about a round of applause for? So, So again, Bill, on behalf of the town of Clifton Park, we just want to congratulate you and thank you and wish you good luck on your next step. Very good, thank you. And say thank you to your parents, I'm sure you. I know I've said it many times before, but it's great to see that scouting is alive and well in Clifton Park. As we continue to have fine young men and women attain Eagle Scouts, gain their silver award, whatever the case may be. It's great to see. All right, next up, we do have some resolutions. Teresa, if you could read through those, please.
A resolution supporting the Safe Water Infrastructure Action Plan of 2022, whereas February 1st, 2016, Supervisor Barrett submitted a resolution passed by the town board as resolution number 24 of 2016, which articulated a policy proposal to address a clear and manifest need for assistance to municipalities with the financial burdens associated with ongoing required maintenance, repairs, and upgrades to the widespread networks of infrastructure necessary to maintain clean water and sanitation throughout the state. Whereas the initiative was modeled after the successful Consolidated Local Street and Highway Improvement Program, CHIPS, which offers a consistent funding stream providing assistance to local communities to support the upkeep of thousands of miles of highway throughout the state, and serves as a successful model for the fair and equitable distribution of funds throughout the state, helping local governments of all sizes and levels. And whereas clean water infrastructure, which is essential to public health and safety, is owned and maintained at various levels of government and through special districts and public authorities of any kind, often constructed decades ago, which all require consistent maintenance, monitoring, and capital improved upgrades. And whereas the legislative policy proposal known as the Safe Water Infrastructure Action Program, SWAP, and based on the CHIPS up concept, was initially introduced in the New York State Senate in 2016 and passed by that body by a unanimous 61-0 vote in 2018, but did not proceed further at that time, was reintroduced in 2019 and again in the current legislative session as S-224, which is currently in the New York State Environmental Conservation Committee. And whereas this legislative initiative now presents a common sense solution to a structural imbalance affecting the public health needs of all the people of the New York State, and it is supported by the New York State Association of Towns, Association of Counties, and the Association of Mayors, and the Rural Water Association, representing virtually all municipalities throughout the state that own and maintain these critical infrastructure systems. And whereas public health and safety depends upon clean water and efficient sanitation and stormwater systems, and the legislative proposal now contained in S-224 provides an effective solution to a recognized structural imbalance between the need for maintenance and the upgrades for these systems and the funding sources available to meet these needs. And whereas the town board of the town of Clifton Park reiterates our strong support for the SWAP legislation currently introduced in the New York State Senate as S-224 to create and fund a New York State annual infrastructure program to offer a fair and equitable formula to distribute funds to municipalities to ensure the integrity and reliability of critical infrastructure maintained by municipalities throughout the state. A resolution adopting application criteria for eligible candidates wishing to apply for funds granted for funding grants for nonprofits under the town's appropriation of American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, funds for a pandemic relief. Whereas the federal legislation known as the American Rescue Plan of 2021 distributed federal funds to states and localities and was intended to provide relief to those adversely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic and related federal and state policies. And whereas by resolution number 192 of 2021, the town board accepted the funds which are to be used toward specific categories of spending. And whereas by resolution number 239 of 2021, the town board designated up to $200,000 for federal ARPA funds received by the town to local nonprofit organizations as authorized by the statute. And whereas the town board members have developed an overview document and application form for qualifying nonprofit organizations to utilize in applying for local funds as designated. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board approves the attached 2022 overview and application criteria for the distribution of up to $200,000 ARPA fund pursuant to Chapter 603B of the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. A resolution appointing Heather Ferriello as a member of the planning board, whereas a vacancy exists for a member of the planning board with the resignation of Ram Lalakota from the position, and whereas Heather Ferriello of 20 Eldorado Drive, Clifton Park, is recommended by Councilwoman Standard to fill the vacant position. And whereas Ms. Ferriello has the background, education, training, and experience necessary to be an effective member of the town planning board. Now therefore be it resolved that Heather Ferriello is hereby appointed planning board member effective January 1st, 2022 for a 7-year term to expire December 31st, 2028. A resolution authorizing the transfer of Vincent Mercurio to the Buildings and Grounds main shop as motor equipment operator per civil service certification, whereas an opening exists in the Buildings and Grounds department in the main shop, and whereas Vincent Mercurio has been employed as an MEO in the transfer station Tuesday through Saturday since 2016, and has requested a transfer to the main shop Monday through Friday. And whereas after interviewing Mr. Mercurio and reviewing his qualifications, Supervisor Barrett has recommended that Vincent Mercurio, 890 Main Street, Clifton Park, fill the position of MEO at the Buildings and Grounds main shop. Now therefore be it resolved that the Clifton Park Town Board hereby authorizes the lateral transfer of Vincent Mercurio to the filled position of MEO at grade 5, step 4, year 1, $54,517 per the current CSEA matrix, to be paid with a transfer of $54,517 from convenience transfer station employee to the Buildings and Grounds employee effective January 3rd, 2022. A resolution authorizing the superintendent of highways to hire Nelson Bonesteel as a motor equipment operator in the highway department, whereas Dan Bull, highway superintendent, wishes to hire a new motor equipment operator, MEO, for the highway department to fill an opening in the department. And whereas superintendent of highways Dan Bull has recommended the hiring of the following individual: Nelson Bonesteel, Class A, 1A Woodbridge Circle, Half Moon. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board authorize the hiring of Nelson Bonesteel as motor equipment operator at grade 5, step 1, at a salary of $50,091 at a rate of $23.21 an hour, effective at the start date after December 20th, 2021. And be it further resolved that the comptroller transfer $2,000 from highway fund snow removal C. Schumacher to highway fund snow removal N. Bonesteel to be allocated based on the attached schedule. A resolution authorizing the budget transfers for calendar year 2021 as specified in Exhibit A, whereas the comptroller has recommended that certain budget adjustments contained in Exhibit A be made to address the needs of all funds, as well as other miscellaneous expenditures as set forth in Exhibit A. Now therefore be it resolved that the budget transfers specified in Exhibit A be transferred per the comptroller's recommendation. A resolution authorizing the purchase of sewer pumps and parts from Fluid Kinetics Incorporated for the sewer department, whereas Michael O'Brien, collection systems manager, has requested authorization to purchase a 7.5 horsepower sewage pump for the Settlers Lane pump station, and whereas repair of the existing pump is not economically feasible, and so sole distributor Fluid Kinetics acquisition price for a new unit is below repair estimates for the existing pump. And whereas an additional pump unit at the same location requires a new pump cap, also supplied by Fluid Kinetics as sole distributor for the existing pump units at a cost of $1,865. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board authorizes the purchase of a new 7.5 horsepower sewage pump and pump cap parts for the Settlers Lane pump station at a cost of $7,470 and $1,865 respectively, along with up to $100 for parts installation. And be it further resolved that the comptroller is authorized to transfer $2,010 from Dutch Meadows Sewer District Number 1 sewer contractual emergency repairs and $1,770 from Dutch Meadows Sewer District Number 1 sewer contractual general maintenance, both to be put into Dutch Meadows Sewer District Number 1 sewer contractual equipment to pay the total amount not to exceed $9,435. A resolution authorizing the sale of equipment declared surplus by the town board and authorizing departments to sell the surplus equipment at public auction. Whereas Daniel Clemens, Director of Buildings, Parks, and Recreation, has identified the items listed below as surplus property. Decatur Electronics Incorporated Galaxy Radar Trailer, 2005 Tarco Highlander Junior Salt Spreader with gas pony motor. 2004 Tarco Highlander Junior Salt Spreader with gas pony motor. And whereas based upon the recommendation of Mr. Clemens, the town board declares 1 radar trailer and 2 salt spreaders listed above as surplus. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board authorizes the Buildings and Grounds Department to sell the surplus equipment as is through an upcoming online public auction.
Well said.
Yes.
Good, thank you. Any questions on the resolutions? Okay. Teresa, if you could read the heading, then we'll consider resolution individually.
Resolution number 290 of 2021, a resolution supporting the Safe Water Infrastructure Action Plan of 2022.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Morelli, second by Mr. Standard. I do want to thank Senator Tedisco again tonight for remaining focused on attempting to get this bill through not only the Senate, which he was able to do in 2018, but hopefully through the Assembly, working on a bipartisan basis with Senator Michelle Hinchey. So the idea for this originally was based on the fact that we have what's called a CHIPS funding program, where every locality is provided funding from New York State to assist with roads within their community. The county receives it, the local municipalities receive it as well. The idea here was to just take a portion of the current New York State funding for infrastructure that is allocated through different programs, just take a portion of that, relatively small portion, and allocate it toward a formula-based program for general infrastructure that would include water pipes, stormwater, sanitary sewer, that type of infrastructure, not for roads because we already have the CHIPS program. And the two would complement each other. Obviously, we go through a process of televising the pipes prior to paving, which is very important. Our sewer department does a great job with that. If municipalities had seed money to also fix pipes under roads as they find that they're compromised before they pave over them, that would make for a better process across the board for everybody. And if it were allocated in this fashion, it's in a fair and equitable manner for all municipalities. I had talked to Senator Tedisco about this idea several years ago. He ran with the idea. He coined the acronym SWAP and just worked tirelessly to have the bill passed in the Senate, which it was in 18. There was a sponsor, Assemblyman Steck, at one point. I don't know if he remains a sponsor, but he was a sponsor at one point, but it did not get through the Assembly. So, again, thank you to Senator Tedisco. If you'd like more information about his view on the topic, if you go to the Saturday edition of the Gazette, Schenectady Gazette, the editorial section, that's December 18th. He has what they deem as a guest column, and he talks about the need for this funding, why it's important, and how the idea was originated. So I thought it would be a good time, since he has a strong push here as New York State gets in gear with its budget process, that we have some more reaffirm, I guess, our support for this idea. It's also been part of the county legislative agenda, so it is something that's discussed when the county talks about its legislative priorities to all of our elected officials that cover Saratoga County in the Senate and the Assembly. So with that, if there's any comment at this time? Okay, very good. And Teresa, if you could just send a copy of this to Senator Tedisco, I'd appreciate it.
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 291 of 2021, a resolution adopting application criteria for eligible candidates wishing to apply for funding grants for nonprofits under the town's appropriation of American Rescue Plan Act funds for pandemic relief.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Standard, second by Mr. Morelli, and the town board has approved $200,000 for this program, along with a few other initiatives that involved the first round of our ARPA funding. So I sent a draft of a nonprofit application for the program to the town board in July. Made some minor additions. That's and you'll see that for what's included in the packet tonight. We've been talking about this for a while, but our nonprofits have experienced and continue to experience tremendous pressure due to the pandemic. I talked tonight about how we, in a lot of circles, haven't seen each other as much as we normally would have over the last couple of years. Well, nonprofits have been unable to conduct fundraising to a large extent. Promotions and events that they would normally hold on an annual basis have been canceled. And it's time we move this initiative forward from an application standpoint, so we can make it known that these funds are available. Please apply for them, and I think we can help a lot of nonprofits. I'll also point out that there will also be a forthcoming county program. Saratoga County is replicating our program with $2 million. So between the county's funds and town funds, that's $2.2 million. In total, that'll be made available for nonprofits in Saratoga County. So now in both cases, both with the town and the county, the ARPA funding will be used for the program. So again, just a way to get some money out to our nonprofits who have been hard hit, and they do so much in our community, and we need to help them get through what is another difficult period of time here due to the pandemic. All right, so I want to say that I envision a very public process where the town board will invite applicants in, probably not during a town board meeting. It might be on a separate evening. Invite them in a public meeting to discuss their application, to make sure that the town board members are, have the opportunity to ask questions and hear directly from the applicants verbally exactly what they plan to do with the money, and tell us about their organization. Should any of the town board members have any questions along those lines as well. So I think that's what I would recommend as a process, and eventually the town board would approve all of the expenditures regarding the funding available versus the number of applications that will be forthcoming. So again, we probably might be better off doing it at another, because I expect we'll have a fair number of applications, and that will take some time. We can do it the same night as a town board meeting, possibly following the meeting or before, but to keep it as convenient as possible for everyone. But we'll probably do it separate from the town board meeting, just so we can take our time and make sure that we're collecting all the information we need from the applicants prior to any decisions being made. So any ideas that any of you have along those lines would now or at some point in the near future would be appreciated.
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowit?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes, and we'll be sure to get that information out in every way possible, that when the applications are available and what the process will be. And I'll send some of these ideas to the town board as far as how the process will play out in the timing.
Just one quick question. Do you know
Yes.
the timeline of the county program? Would their funds be allocated before or after? Or don't we know yet? 'Cause it could be the same organization applying
Yeah,
town or county.
that might happen. I would think in probably a couple of situations that it's bound to happen. Difficult to say at this point. I would say that the county program will be finalized early next year, first quarter. So we're a little bit ahead of the county at this point, but they may run concurrently, at least for a period of time.
Will the applicant be able to apply to both programs, the county and the town?
Yeah,
Is there a way we can?
yeah. I was thinking about that, and, I don't think there's any way we can or should preclude them from,
No.
applying to the county program. Obviously ours is just for Clifton Park. County is for the entire county, so there'll also be a great demand. $2 million sounds like a lot of money, but there'll be a great demand for that money as well. A lot of nonprofits throughout the county. Our decision as a town board will be based on the merits of the applications, I would say, but I don't think we should preclude them, but it might be part of somebody's calculation as to what a organization should be awarded. Okay, thank you.
Resolution number 292 of 2021, a resolution appointing Heather Ferriello as a member of the planning board.
So moved. Second?
Moved by Mrs. Standard, second by Ms. Wallowit, and Heather has experience on the ECC, and thank her for coming forward. Is there anything you'd like to say about that?
Thank you, yes.
Yeah.
Heather Ferriello has really done an exceptional job on the ECC and has expressed interest in serving on the planning board. As you can see from her resume, which is attached to this resolution, she does have extensive experience, and I think she's going to be a great addition to the planning board.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a very impressive resume.
Yeah.
I agree. So,
Yeah, very diverse background in a lot of areas that are important to planning in general. So that coupled with the fact that she's willing to invest the time on behalf of the town, can't thank her enough.
does she know how long the meeting's going?
She does. Well, that's another conversation, but she is willing to put the commitment in. She does have children. She does, obviously, as you can see from her resume, she does have a very busy full-time job, but her town is important to her, and this community is important to her, and she knows how important the planning board is, so she is willing to invest the time. So I'm looking forward to this appointment.
Good, well, we're very thankful. Any other comments? Teresa?
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowit?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 293 of 2021, a resolution authorizing the transfer of Vincent Mercurio of the Buildings and Grounds to the Buildings and Grounds main shop as motor equipment operator for civil service certification.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Wallen, second by Mr. Morelli, and Mr. Mercurio has wide breadth of experience with the town of Clifton Park, starting off as a seasonal employee in the Buildings and Grounds Department for a few years.
Yeah, couple.
He was hired full-time at the transfer station. He's done a tremendous job there now for a while, and with an opening at the Buildings and Grounds headquarters, he has submitted his name for that position. This would be an internal transfer. So Dan, if you could talk about Vince a little bit.
Yeah, sure. Like you said, Vinny's been around for quite a long time. Started seasonal, been down there. He's done pretty much everything there is in the department. I've had him up for weeks at a time in this past year to reacquaint him with some of the work up there. Besides the work week itself being different, the work is definitely different between the two different sections of Buildings and Grounds. But Vinny has a Class B driver's license, so which is going to be helpful at both parts of Buildings and Grounds. He can operate all of the equipment that we have. He's good on mowers, and plowing, anything like that. He's got a lot of experience, and he's going to be a big asset up there. And of course, as needed, what we always do. If I need him back at the transfer station for a day or two, or an hour, or 5 minutes, he'll run down there and always pitch in and do whatever he needs to do to get the job done.
Yeah, and when I spoke to him, I didn't even bring that up. I mean, he brought it up to me that, anything we need as far as his knowledge that he's gained at the transfer station, if he can help out there in the future at any time, he's more than willing to do that. So that was nice of him to offer that, and who knows?
Yeah, he's very, very cooperative, willing to do anything you put in front of him, kind of an employee. And so he's just coming up on 6 years of a full-time employee here. So he's certainly shown what he's got, and very valuable employee to the town.
Can't believe it's been 6 years.
Yeah, no time flies, isn't it?
Well, you won't have to show him around, that's
true.
So he's been a valuable member of the team and will continue to be. And thank him for everything he's done so far. And look forward to his new position here soon. I know you are.
Yes, sir. Right.
So if this is approved this evening, what we will do is post the opening at the transfer station internally per the union agreement for 10 days. Okay. Discussion.
Dan, I have a question. So Vinny is MEO, so but you're going to be hiring a laborer for the transfer station.
Yes, ma'am.
So do you have another MEO at the transfer station right now?
Yes.
Okay, all right,
Sure
so
do.
that's a need that will be taken care of. Who's the
Yes.
other MEO?
Todd Kirchhoffer.
Todd is, okay.
And the transfer station manager also can do any of the work down there in Tom McCune. He's more than capable of doing any work down there, and also very willing to do anything to get things done. So yeah, Todd is an MEO.
But you didn't think that you needed another MEO down there, but the labor is sufficient?
No, I think starting out a laborer is probably the right way to go. And if we find we need an MEO, we can certainly promote someone down there once they step up and start doing a little more. But sure, I think at this time we'd be fine.
Okay.
And we'll see what the interest is internally.
Sure.
There might be somebody that's higher than a laborer that's interested, and we can consider making that transfer.
Certainly.
Okay.
Councilwoman Flood,
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard,
Yes.
Councilman Morelli.
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowitz,
Yes,
Supervisor Barry.
Yes.
Resolution number 294, 2021, a resolution authorizing the superintendent of highways to hire Nelson Bonesteel as a motor equipment operator in the highway department.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Standard, second by Ms. Wallowitz, and Mr. Bonesteel is here. How you doing, sir?
Thank you.
Good. Comes from good stock. So tell us about his attributes, Dan.
Well, we interviewed Nelson a little while ago, and he checked off all the boxes. A great personality, hard work ethic, tough guy, and had great references. But unfortunately, at the time, he needed drivers. He needed Class B, Class A, and Nelson just recently received his Class A driver's license, so we went out and poached him. But like I was saying, he's got a Class A driver's license. We've had just in 2021, due to retirements and resignations, 4 Class A's retire or resign. So we have a definite need for those Class A's. So he's going to be in a little bit of a special a special place, hauling equipment and working on crews that are carrying that equipment all over the place. Our leaf district, because he needs a Class A for that. So he has a lot of opportunities for crew leader and crew leader pay and that type of stuff. So we like him and we want to bring him onto the team.
Very good. Any discussion?
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Walowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes, welcome to the team, Mr. Barnsteel. We look forward to working with you.
Thank you very much. Don't be like that.
Resolution number 295 of 2021, a resolution authorizing budget transfers for calendar year 2021 as specified in Exhibit A.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Mr. Morelli, second by Mrs. Standard. Mark, any comments?
Just interim transfers right now. There'll still be some more once we close the books, which are going to be starting in just over a week.
Yeah. Yep, end of the year already. Wow. All right, discussion. Okay, Teresa?
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Walowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 296 of 2021, a resolution authorizing the purchase of sewer pumps and parts from Fluid Kinetics Incorporated for the sewer department.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Standard, second by Mr. Morelli. We have a, Mike couldn't be here tonight, but we have a detailed explanation as to what the expense is related to and the reasoning behind it. Any questions? Okay.
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Walowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 297 of 2021, a resolution authorizing the sale of equipment declared surplus by the town board and authorizing departments to sell the surplus equipment at public auction.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Standard, second by Ms. Smallwoods. Dan, you want to part with this stuff?
Well, not really, it's kind of difficult, but, yeah, the two salters, about, I think the first board meeting this month, the board approved the purchase of a new one that replaced one of these. The other one was replaced last year. So they're just sitting out there getting worse shape than they already were. So I think now is a really good time. We can probably get the best money for them right now with the season turning towards ice, and they're not easy to get these things. So we'll see how we do. And the radar trailer I listed for Lou. And that thing, I don't know what the condition of that is, but maybe he wants to come up and talk about it. But that's what he brought it over here, and we just have it listed, and we'll list it on the auction for him, and all that money back into the fund.
Okay, very good. Any questions for Dan?
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Walowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes. Lou, I don't know if you have anything to add on that item, but could you just update us real quick on the issue we have with a couple of approved purchases recently, very recently?
Yes, well, on the radar signs that we want to get rid of, it's not the type that will calculate the speeds or anything like this here. That was involved with security before I got involved 15, 16 years ago. So it's quite old for calibration, doesn't hold calibrations and stuff like this here. So last week, I asked the board for 2 new ones. Everything was good, got approval. The following day, I made contact with the sales rep. He tells me, oh no, that's not correct. It's $3,000 more per unit. So at that point, I'm going, what happened? He says, well, I forgot to send you the link to tie into the GIS system under the federal government. So I said, great. So I reached out to Phil and says, now what do I do? So here I am. It's going to be roughly $6,000 more for the 2 units.
Now, that was, as far as procurement goes, that was a piggyback bid, right? Tell us a little bit about that.
We went out for bid 3 or 4 years ago. He basically accepted the same bid, and under the federal contract, it was less. That's where he came up with $11,000 or so per radar sign. Well, he tells me now there's been some changes, and if you want it with a solar panel, it costs this much. If you want it with a battery charger, it's this much. With all the certain options, it comes out to be about $3,000 more per unit.
Well, I'm sure it was an honest mistake on his part, but are there, now that the price is, at least on a percentage basis, much higher than we originally thought, are there other options out there that we can check into and just compare prices?
There are other units out there, yes.
Yeah.
Other manufacturers, as for cost, they're probably all around $12,000 mark.
Yeah.
Or more.
Well, I think we need to, when somebody comes back and says we made a mistake, which I get, but it is a much higher price, so I think we need to go back out and go through a procurement process and do our homework. Mark can help you with that, or Tom, depending on the issue, but if you could work on that so we can hopefully get something ordered by the next meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next meeting is in January the
3rd, yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Mark,
All right.
without the button in front of you, can you tell us what he has in his equipment line? I'll call you tomorrow.
I can't.
Okay. Thanks, Will.
Okay.
Any other business to come before the board this evening? Okay. We'll go to public privilege. If you'd like to speak on a town issue, please raise your hand. I'll ask that you come forward. State your name and address for the record, and please keep it to 5 minutes or less. We have John and Darlene here.
I just
Any
wish
takers?
everybody a very Merry Christmas.
Well, Merry Christmas to you too, sir.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too, Darlene. Would you like to speak?
Yes, please.
Yes, please, come on up. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great.
That's good.
Can I take my mask down?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
I'm doing great. Thank you. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Happy, hate saying this, but Happy New Year's, because I guess this is the last board meeting of the year. I did want to say to the highway department, thank you for dealing with last night's little issue there on Mole Road and Clifton Park Center Road.
Sounds like there's either a disagreement or something going on out there. I'm sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. No, sorry.
Sorry.
About that.
But I,
Keep talking. It's not gonna stop.
You don't need to lean into the mic.
oh, okay, sorry. I was walking yesterday on Clifton Park Center Road, and I was walking because I didn't want to bring my trike out, but I was walking and I went across Mow Road and Clifton Park Center Road, and I thought I was gonna have a heart attack because I almost got hit by a car. That road is very unsafe for pedestrians, and I appreciate how you guys are all trying to make it safer. But these wild and crazy folks seem to think that these roads are just for them as far as vehicles. There's a few other roads, Plank Road, I believe it is over by Bruno Road, Kings Road.
Right.
And I would also suggest, I believe that traffic light on Plank Road and Kings Road is, has cars where it's censored where it has a car. If it doesn't notice a car, then doesn't notice you. That should be changed because it can't tell when I'm trying to ride my trike. It can't tell if I'm trying to make a left-hand turn and get into the other side of Clifton Park. And if I have to make a left on red, quote unquote, that's very dangerous, and I don't do that 99% of the time, especially when I'm going on one major road to another major road. So I would suggest that the town talk and communicate about changing that and not making that a censored light, because that makes it even more dangerous for those of us that are pedestrians and cyclists that want to go from one part of the town to the other part. But I really appreciate how the town is trying to work with all of the people around here, and I suggest that maybe we have a complete streets committee here in the town, and or a group of us that have disabilities, so that we can let other people in the town know that there's programs and people that have disabilities and how we can better help the town so that we can all be as one and that we can all work in this town as one. Thank you.
Thank you, Darlene. Appreciate it. All right, Ms. Waller? Ms. Waller?
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Second by Mr. Morelli.
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowit? Yes. Supervisor Barrett?
Yes, I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, a happy holiday season, and a Happy New Year, and we'll see you in 2022. Thank you.
Good night, Amy.